we're continuing to get this nice, consistent, wide zones of mineralization on our project, but then we also continue to hit these nice higher grade pockets, which is something that we consistently see across the project and something that really excites us in terms of the opportunity that we've got from an exploration perspective.
All right, so hello and welcome to the Assay TV. Today I am happy to be joined by Luke Alexander, President, CEO, and Director at Newcore Gold. So Luke, thanks for joining us here today.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me, Amy. Nice to see you again.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure to have you. So maybe we can start with a brief update on the back of some of your latest news. So you released drill results on April 1st from the drill program that's underway at Enchi. Can you give us a bit of an overview of those results?
Yeah, so as we've spoken about in the past, we kicked off an initial 10,000 meter drill program that expanded to 35,000 meters on the back of a financing that we completed in February of this year. And this is some additional drill results from that 35,000 meter drill program, a total of about 2,500 meters. So a small portion of the overall drill program that we're doing, but we've continued to hit these very nice wide intercepts of mineralization on our project. So these holes were focused on our Sewum deposit, which is our largest deposit on the project, and we intercepted 68 meters of 0.73 grams per ton. We also intercepted, and then we had some higher grade intercepts as well, 1.4 grams over 24 meters, but within that we had 6.5 grams over 4 meters. So we're continuing to get this nice, consistent, wide zones of mineralization on our project, but then we also continue to hit these nice higher grade pockets, which is something that we consistently see across the project and something that really excites us in terms of the opportunity that we've got from an exploration perspective.
Okay, sounds great. And so, you already started to talk about the drill results at your program at Enchi. So as you mentioned, you've got a 35,000 meter drill program underway currently. Can you talk about the primary goal for this program? And looking at the drilling results that you have released, what's the focus moving forward?
Yeah, so we've got a few different things we're ultimately looking to accomplish with this drill program. When we initially commenced it in Q3 of last year, it was a 10,000 meter drill program that was really focused on resource conversion. So one of the things we're working at the moment is taking our project from a PEA stage project to a PFS stage project. The reason for that is we see through that de-risking process, creating a lot of value for shareholders by ultimately creating a more robust project that is further de-risked, that will command a higher multiple from the market. So one of the key components of that is to convert ounces from the inferred category to the indicated category. So resource conversion is something that we are focused on, and that initial kind of 10,000 meter program was really dedicated to that resource conversion component. But with this additional 25,000 meters that we've added, we are doing a bit of additional resource conversion, but a big portion of that drilling will be focused on, call it more pure exploration type drilling. So all of our deposits do remain open along strike, so continuing to systematically step out and look to grow the overall mineralized footprint of our 5 resource areas today. We've also got an additional 4 areas where we made discoveries. These are areas where we drilled 2,000 to 5,000 meters, but don't have enough drill density to ultimately wrap a resource around them. Had some very nice intercepts at those 4 different areas, and those will be, again, areas that we look to get back to from a drill perspective. And then one of the other things that we're very excited about is the opportunity at depth. The average vertical depth of our pits today is only down to about 75 meters. And if you look at a lot of these greenstone hosted deposits along the Sefwi-Bibiani belt from us that, host historical endowments of 5.5 to 20 million ounces, a lot of those ounces were discovered as they got into the higher grade sulfides at depth. So we've started to identify a number of those areas on our project, and we're excited with this additional drilling that we've got planned to get back in there and do some follow-up drilling in those areas. So resource conversion, resource expansion near surface, going back to previously drilled tested areas, and then drilling some of these high-grade targets that we've identified at depth are kind of the four key areas that we're focused on with this 35,000 meter drill program.
Okay, sounds great. And you mentioned that you're working towards a pre-feasibility study. Can you talk about what else is underway as part of the work program and the targeted timeline for that study?
Yeah, so the PFS, we're doing a lot of work on it at the moment. As I mentioned, resource conversion is one of the critical elements to that. So we're looking to commission that PFS in the second half of this year with the plan to get it out in the first half of 2026. So along with the conversion drilling, we're also doing some hydrological work, geotech work. We're doing a little bit of additional met test work, and then a number of other studies, some additional environmental, social studies, and all of that will then obviously feed into the PFS, which will get started in the second half of this year.
Okay. Well, definitely stuff for lots of stuff for us to kind of keep an eye on as we move forward throughout the year. So looking at 2025 so far, Newcore has seen very strong share price performance. So why do you think that is? And do you see that, I suppose, continuing moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've, as you highlighted, had some good share performance this year. I think there's a few key elements to that. One is we did complete a large financing in February of this year. We went out initially for $12 million. We quickly increased that to $15 million, given all of the demand that we had for it and the desire to not cut back investors significantly. That financing was backed by deep-pocketed, long-term focused institutional investors who recognize the tremendous upside that there is in our project. One, the fundamental re-rate that will come from taking it from PEA to PFS, and then layered on top of that, obviously the huge district scale exploration upside that we have. So from a market perspective, I think investors today are looking at Newcore with a $17 million balance sheet. We've got an additional roughly $14 million of warrants and options that currently sit in the money. So if those are to come in between now and February of 2026, that would put us at roughly $31 million of cash. So an extremely strong balance sheet to ultimately aggressively drill on our project, complete the PFS, and create significant value for shareholders. So the fact that there's no funding overhang and that we're funded for the next couple of years, I think has been one of the big catalysts for the company. And then, beyond that, obviously our project sits in Ghana, which is a tier 1 jurisdiction. We've seen a significant amount of corporate interest in the country, as well as the company's backed by a management team who's truly aligned with shareholders. Our board and management, we own 15% of Newcore. So, I think all those elements, strong institutional support, very well financed, backed by a team in a tier 1 jurisdictions, are a number of the reasons why we've seen such strong performance this year.
All right. And so just to start to wrap it up, do you want to share any kind of upcoming news flow that our investor audience should be on the lookout for in the coming months?
Yeah, so if you look at the drilling that we've completed to date, it's about 14,000 meters. So, in relation to that 35,000 meter drill program, it's about 40% of what we've currently got planned. So expect to see a lot of news flow between now and the end of the year, as well as obviously we're doing a number of those additional studies that are working towards the PFS. So we'll get additional news out on that. So those would be the key things: is a lot of drill results and be very news flow heavy for the balance of 2025.
Okay, sounds great. And I definitely look forward to catching up with you again at our upcoming London show. And so, Luke, it's great to have you here on the Assay.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me, Amy.
Thanks.